go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hydrate! Water break! Where's Urban Meyer's guy? We needed to tell us to hydrate. Woo! The blue-collar workers of Duval. Take a knee. Get yourself some Powerade. Get yourself a Pedialyte. Of course, I recommend ice-cold beers, but that is not the recipe for hydration. Instead, too many days spent sunburned and dehydrated. Not a good combo, especially when it is 90-something degrees out. Never complain about the weather when it's hot. Love it. I do. But be careful, especially you folks out there who work outside. All right, we get a lot to do. Really busy. Forrest Connolly in 30 minutes, former Florida State football player, now an ESPN college football analyst and actor. Okay. We'll talk to Big Foe in 30. And then we get Johnny O. Big Foe and Johnny O. Right? I mean, that's what we're going to do here on the program. I kind of drifted off last night. I watched yet again another overtime classic between NYR and Florida. The Panthers, a winner in overtime to even up that series at 2 apiece. Thought Dallas was going to come back and pull it off against Minnesota. Probably better off for the Mavericks to play tomorrow night. I mean, the NBA Finals do not start until a week from tomorrow. So Boston sits and waits. They'll get 9 days off. But that whole rust and rest and what have you, if Dallas closes it out tomorrow night in Minnesota, they'll get at least a week to rest for the NBA Finals. If not, that'll push a Game 6 back to Dallas coming up on Saturday. But, I was kind of drifting off, and I was listening to some good music, and I was listening to some old Crazy Horse with Neil Young, and, Cortez the Killer, and the lyrics are just so deep when he says the women were all beautiful. The men stood straight and strong. They offered life and sacrifice so that others could go on. I thought it was so fitting right after Memorial Day. Thought it was really fitting after the show that we kind of found ourselves sliding into a night ago on our text line that was just burning up at 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Didn't really mean to go that way, and we began to talk about Grayson Murray, but I was blown away by the listeners and your response. And, today we learned that Stetson Bennett took an entire year off because of mental health. Okay, the guy won consecutive national titles at Georgia. I think he was a third or fourth round pick by the Los Angeles Rams. On the, the blueprint is what a life, what a human being. 99.9% of us would trade to be Stetson Bennett, to be a two-time defending champion, to be an NFL player, albeit a backup. Holding a clipboard in the NFL is a pretty good job. If you can get it. But we heard about his trials and tribulations. And I've been one who honestly thinks this. And if it comes across as rude, tough, it's how I feel. It's almost as if the farther we get into life, the less good people we run into, right? Everyone's angry. So much of that is social media led. When Grayson Murray died, if you read the reactions, the comments, right away, comment 2 or 3. Oh, it's because he took the jab. Oh, it's because he got the needle. The hatred that came out of COVID, where human beings, when others died, it didn't matter to them at all. It was the side of, did you get the jab? Did you not get the jab? And if the opposite was what you did, many were going to fight you and actually parade around at death. It's sad, but it's true. It really is. And we get this with politics. I mean, Robert De Niro is probably my all-time favorite actor. He is going absolutely crazy right now. And if you don't agree with Robert De Niro, people hate you. Okay? I've always been one of those. I mean, Bono's my favorite. U2's my favorite act. I've seen him 29 times. I don't care what Bono says, right? I don't care what Robert De Niro says. I don't care what athletes say. You may, right? And, every once in a while I'll talk about Rock or I'll talk about a serial killer. You see the newest serial killer they just caught? He's the bad breath serial killer.
Arguably the worst one.
Did you see that?
No, where?
It just came out. I just saw it today. You had BTK and you had the cannibal and
Eileen Wuornos, of course.
The Night Stalker. You had the smiley face killer.
Oh, you're talking about nicknames.
Right, you had the Green River killer. He's the bad breath killer. Okay, he's identified by that. And I guess if you go back and really look at Richard Ramirez in the summer of '85 in Los Angeles, they said that the hygiene of Richard Ramirez was absolutely brutal as well. But that's not the one identification that you want if you're trying to avoid forensics, you're trying to avoid surveillance, but apparently you got laser breath. I want to point out that there are some good people out there. Okay, and maybe it's always been this way. We just weren't around to hear it because we didn't have social media. And, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you disagree with me, fine. But, neighborly, friendly, it doesn't feel like it once did. And it's sad. There's so much angst. There's so much displeasure. There's so much of others smiling when others are in misery. And I'll just never be able to figure that out. I just wanted to start with that because last night's show was, I thought, really, really deep. To hear from all of these military veterans, members of the Marines, to hear from doctors, nurses, all right, trained psychologists or what have you, in all of these different fields, talking about how dangerous mental health is. All right? Look at how we've turned in this country with mental health. Even when I was in high school in the 80s, there was nothing. There was no mental health. Okay? If you were down and out, you were weak. You were a sissy. And again, it's second only to the absolute ignorance of old Lombardi-esque high school coaches who thought that you were the lowest possible man that you could ever be because you needed water on a practice field. Just think about how stupid those people were, how uninformed those people were. Water on a practice field meant you were a sissy. Mental health, if you had issues, man, mental health is for the weak. It's not. It's everywhere. It involves your family. It involves your friends. So I just want to start, and then I'm going to move on. But get help, people. Reach out. I'm serious about this. There are people, really good people, who can help you. You saw it happen with a 30-year-old, Grayson Murray. My goodness, 58th on the money list. 30 years of age, playing in the best golf courses in the United States of America, treated like a prince, going from stop to stop to stop. It feels like such a great life. And you saw what he did when he missed that putt on 16, walked off, and a couple hours later we hear that he, in fact, committed suicide. So I don't give a lot of PSAs, but I do care. And some of the stories that came in yesterday, a few of them were so deep I didn't even read them because I really felt for folks. But there are others out there who do care. So I don't know where to tell you where to go, okay? I mean, Google it, reach out. I'm sure there's free help. There's counseling. So, yeah, it feels like the bad rears its ugly head, right? They're the loudest. You're never going to win on the streets of Twitter. You come out fighting on Twitter, you're going to get your ass kicked. I think the last time I won a social media battle was last week on MySpace. I've never won on Facebook. I've never won on Twitter. I've never won anywhere else. And why would you? The vultures are going to get you. Okay? A lot of you, if you have issues like that, I'd stay off it. It's not for everyone. It's tough. It's cowardly, but it's rough. Those streets are. It's not for everyone. I mean, back when we went to school, if you had a problem with someone Friday afternoon, weekend, you never heard from, right? They would have to pick up the phone and call you. You would wait till next Monday if you were bullied or whatever that case may be. Right? Now, it's at your fingertips. You can never escape it. And I know that also is an issue with kids in junior high and high school. So I learned something yesterday, and that's the reason why I mentioned this. There really are some good people here in Jacksonville, more than perhaps I was aware of, because it always feels like the negative outweighs the positive. Yesterday was very positive when we did get into that. All right, we got lots to do here tonight over the next couple of hours. The Scotty Scheffler situation is a complete, total abomination. All right, I like to brag about our police force. They did a real good job a couple of weeks ago in that sting where 27 individuals went down trying to meet underage individuals, okay? And Sheriff Waters did a phenomenal job. I like to congratulate when a job is well done. What an absolute you-know-what show in Louisville. What a colossal mistake by the Louisville Police Department and the mayor. And to double down last week and announce a presser and then release a video which showed absolutely nothing. Again, it's all about leadership, all right? Not only in our country or in our state, but right in our county, right in our town. Louisville, from what I understand, is a pretty good town. It's pretty good people, friendly individuals. You're trying to tell me there wasn't one person in that small group who had enough sense, enough smarts to say, guys, we have nothing. Drop the charges. But no, they did a Jason Lockenfora. Jason Lockenfora, who makes things up, okay, doesn't do any research, doesn't put in the road work and find out, what is going on in Jacksonville. Said he just makes stuff up. Remember a few weeks ago, he doubled down on they're leaving, they're going to London, or, he's impressed by the sketches of the new practice facility, not even doing simple research to find out that the Miller Electric Center is now in year 2. Okay, simple research. All you got to do is Google it. And it's that, but he didn't, because he treats Jacksonville kind of the way I used to treat Mississippi State, or kind of the way I will treat Stanford or SMU if I'm asked to go cover the Atlantic Coast Conference football meetings in late July. If you're expecting a full-out report from me on Stanford, sorry, okay? I'll give you the nuts and the bolts. I know John Elway is no longer the quarterback at Stanford, and I know that Bill Walsh is no longer the coach. That's about all I can tell you. It's freaking Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coast Conference, all right? But how does Louisville, which, by the way, may be pretty good this year, they had the best transfer class in all of college football, and they're like a team like a Georgia Tech. They're a team like an NC State that every once in a while they can rally, put together some quality players, and knock off the big boys. If I can even say big boys. I mean, who are the big boys right now in the ACC? Florida State, right? Although they lost a ton of production. Miami, Clemson. The ignorance of Dabo Swinney not bringing in one transfer player. I mean, you talk about being a chameleon. You talk about rolling with the changes. Again, leadership. Who do you trust? In Clemson, Dabo's running an asylum, and it feels like it's becoming somewhat of a sinking ship. I think they're a 13.5-point opening day underdog against Georgia. Clemson, a 2-touchdown dog on opening day. And again, you go to Louisville here. Scotty Scheffler did exactly what you expect him to do. Class individual. No ill will towards the officer. It was all a great misunderstanding. There's a good human being. If it was someone else, they could have made such a big deal about this. They could be suing the Louisville Police Department right now. And many would. The ambulance chasers out there, the lawyers who are looking for a quick buck. Okay, I'm sure his phone has rung many times, not necessarily to himself, but his agent. Hey, let's make some money here for Scotty. I mean, look what happened. Look how he was treated for something as poor as that. But again, it goes to bad leadership. They should have dropped the charges. It would have gone away. We never would have mentioned it. But for them to come out with what they did last week and show us a video and have the video produce absolutely nothing, again, I think that instead of just owning it and coming out and saying, mistake was made, we apologize, that's it, you almost believe the lie. You almost believe it to the case where you're going to show something to others that prove nothing but stand above it. So this is a really bad day, as far as I'm concerned, for everyone involved with the police out there in Louisville. All right, Big Forrest Connolly is going to join us here coming up in a little bit. We're going to talk about Florida State with him. We're going to talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference and his thoughts on certainly Miami, who has had a very good recruiting class as well. And Cam Ward, I mean, you talk about a dark horse for a Heisman Trophy winner. You know, Miami's going to have to win some big games, including on opening day. They're going to have to knock off the Florida Gators. You know, I saw the lines. They're out now. They're favored in this game. Miami, going into the Swamp is a difficult place to play college football. Let me find it for you right here. A couple of these early lines coming up on the 31st. Where the heck is it? I think it's 2.5. Florida as a home underdog against Miami. I don't know why I can't find it yet. Yeah, that Clemson-Georgia game's at noon. Georgia's a 13-point favorite. That is absolutely amazing to me. Miami's favored by 3.5 points at Florida. All right, the line opened at 2. So, my understanding would be, as a guy who no longer bets and hasn't in well over 10 years, I might get back into it. I don't know. Depending on which way the wind blows, I may at some point again in my life. Okay, abstaining has been fun because, frankly, it's not worth the stress. Gambling on a game, it's not worth being, in my opinion, miserable throughout the course of a game that really doesn't mean all that much to you. In this game here, Miami and Florida, that will mean something to me. I'll enjoy watching it. But the line opened at 2. It's now 3.5. So that means late in the month of May, the early bettors have put that much amount of money on the Canes to move the line. Either that or, they're trying to get some Florida money right now, thinking that something will change in a couple of months before opening day. But an interesting year for the Canes and Cam Ward, so we'll get into that as well with Forrest Connolly. He is going to join us coming up in a couple of hours. I also want to get into the SEC a little bit later on in the program, as it feels like everything nowadays is about change, right? It's about more information. It's about acquiring that information. I'm actually surprised we didn't see this a couple of years ago. But reportedly in the SEC, they are going to become the first conference to openly report injuries that is similar to the National Football League. For what reason? You nailed it. Gambling. It's the only reason. They used to try to hide injury reports and say, well, we produced them because we don't want to have one team getting an advantage over another team. Okay, that was complete bull. The injury report in the NFL has been there for one reason and one reason only, and that is for gamblers. Okay, it is a tool that you absolutely must live by if you wager. And now it's going to start to happen in big-time college football, beginning with the SEC. They have to vote on this, but to read the comments from Lane Kiffin, to read the comments from Kirby Smart, excuse me, that is not COVID, ladies and gentlemen. If you're hoping that I'm going to die during the midst of the show because I did get the jab a couple of years ago, it's nothing more than just a slight cough. Sorry for those of you. Others who did it like me, hey, we'll keep fighting on, right? The side effects suck. They certainly do. There's no doubt about it. But, hey, that's a decision I made, right? Got great information, took it, got jabbed, and I've never been the same. All right, we got a lot to do. But they don't do it in hockey. It's amazing that the National Hockey League is able to get away with not reporting injuries. They are able to do it in that particular fashion, but not the NFL. And obviously, nothing is bet on like the sport of football, whether it's pro or college, wagered on much more than the National Hockey League. If you're a National Hockey League bettor, good luck with that. All right, I think your best play is the unders. And certainly going into overtime, again, I don't look because I don't bet, but I don't even know if you can wager on whether or not a game is going to go into overtime. Should be a pretty good one tonight as well in Edmonton. A lot of pressure now on the best player in the National Hockey League and Connor McDavid. The Oilers down 2-1 in the best of 7 here against the Dallas Stars. The Oilers a slight favorite, somewhere in the neighborhood of minus 30 to the dollar. The total 5.5 tonight. So some pretty intriguing lines as we get set for that game. All right, opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. That's one thing I got that I know is good. Okay, and I tell you what, when I was going through all these side effects, the head problems that I had that I think is from COVID, I don't know for sure. Okay, I've been dealing with it really for years. And I've tried everything, man. I've had the MRI. I've had the EKGs. I mean, they've totally measured my brain. They've studied my brain. They've studied my heart. They studied everything. I get these headaches, this dizziness, right? It's so awful if you get it as well. I can't explain it. It's not a headache, but it's dizziness. You feel kind of out of body. You feel like you just got off a ship. Or maybe a small boat, and I don't wish it on anyone. And I've been dealing with it for a couple of years. There's two things that have worked. Number one, visiting Dr. Shinatri, getting my neck adjusted, has been the best for it. But a small change in my vision about a year ago also helped, okay? Because not seeing correctly can lead to problems with dizziness. It can lead to headaches, all right? You may think it's an allergy. It may be. You may think that whatever it is, that it may be. Who knows? But what I'm telling you, this is another reason why you should be visiting the good folks at Shmunez Vision. No matter what it is that concerns you, you need to be able to trust a family organization, all right? A couple of generations at Shmunez with Dr. Neil Shmunez and Dr. Catherine Shmunez. And you're talking about high-quality medical and surgical eye care. I say it all the time because it's true. 8.5 years ago, Dr. Neil Shmunez performed surgery on my right eye. Last Friday, I went in for my regular visit, do it a few times a year. Perfect. Nothing wrong at all. All right? I live for these folks. Swear by them. They're so good. You need to take advantage of this. Go to the very best in Jacksonville. Check them out online. Shmunez Vision. Care you can see. JJ LaSelva is here. Are you fired up for Spencer Schwellenbach, who's getting the baseball tonight for the Atlanta Braves?
I am. 7:20 first pitch. Hopefully he lasts like at least 4 innings. This kid, he's only been in the double A for like 2 weeks now. He just got drafted a couple years ago coming off TJ. Probably not going to go well, but whatever. We'll see.
We will see. It is the Nationals taking him on tonight. Washington, a few games under 500 in the National League East, which has really been a surprise so far this year. I mean, Philadelphia, arguably the best team right now in baseball, right there with the New York Yankees. The Braves, 10 games above 500, But the Mets are struggling. The Marlins got off to that just horrific start. They've actually been playing around some 500 baseball as of late, but we'll see what the Nationals do. Yeah, if you haven't heard, Spencer Schwellenbach called up tonight. He will make his first ever start for the Braves. 6'1", 200, played his college baseball at Nebraska. All right, let's get to college football. Let's do that. From ESPN, college football analyst, the big foe, Forrest Connolly, played his ball at Florida State. He goes into the night with Rick Ballou next.
The place for Jaguar news.
I just came from the Jaguars locker room, and I tell you what, it was interesting. This is what I learned.
Home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reish, the one-stop solution for any plumbing problem, residential or commercial. No matter how complex the work, Roland Reish quotes all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Whether your pipes are doing a water ballet or you need to hydrojet the whole system, always use Roland Reish Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and when the sun's out, it's time to ride. And Triumph, tell me this, Greg, they've got new pricing that's going to bring more people to the showroom to check them out.
They do. They've got two hot new models, both under $6,000, one under $5,000. Same great legendary Triumph quality and ride. You got to come see it.
And it's a big, heavy motorcycle underneath you.
It is. It's all Triumph.
Log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, or check them out in the showroom. They're on Atlantic near Regency.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home all week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is 5-Star Good is Everywhere Wednesday, featuring Project Chance and Mayo Clinic. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday with beer specials. Then it's Red Shirt Friday with fireworks, and the first 2,000 fans on Saturday get a hip-hop t-shirt. Plus more fireworks. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents. Plus better ways to train as B3 bettors Jerry and Sanders and A.D. Roberts host the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
Mike Dempsey here with someone who made a huge impact in my life. Paige, the owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
When I started Awaken 180 Weight Loss, it was from my own personal experience, my own personal journey. Because for me, losing weight was so impactful. Wearing different clothes was great, and seeing a different number on the scale was great, but that wasn't really the real impact, and that isn't what excites me. That isn't what I'm passionate about. Seeing the change in the rest of my life is what is so rewarding. And hearing the stories from people who have lost 40 pounds, 80 pounds with us, and seeing how that has impacted their lives and their journeys and helped them increase their confidence, help them start their own businesses, help bring their families together and deepen their relationships. That's what it's all about.
Thanks, Paige. Lifetime results thanks to free support for life. Schedule your Awaken 180 at-home consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlion from MyBookie. Bet on any fight, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie. With UFC 302 this weekend, it's not just about betting winners. You're betting on yourself at MyBookie. Boosted bets and exclusive money bag props give you everything you need to cash in on your fight knowledge. And the best part is, when you play with MyBookie, you can stream and bet live right from the sportsbook, so you can turn those big fights into big wins. A main event clash between Makhachev and Poirier sets the tone for what should be one of the most intense cards of the year. This is Makhachev's first title defense against a legitimate lightweight contender, whilst Poirier is looking to continue momentum from a stunning comeback win earlier this year. You know you're going to watch the fights this weekend anyway, so choose the book that makes it simple to bet and easy to get paid. Sign up, use promo code 1010XL, bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code, 1010XL.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
All right, really a busy Wednesday so far right here with Rick Ballou. We do tonight till 8. John Osher in 30 minutes. The latest on the Jaguars. Had an opportunity to get out to the Miller Electric Center yesterday and witness their latest OTA. That was a lot of fun. College football in the news as well. Forrest Connolly is an ESPN analyst. He is an actor. He's also a guy that I've known since he was 18 when I covered him over in God's country when he was a highly recruited offensive lineman with Florida State. Forrest Connolly goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Big Fo, how you been?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, everything's okay. First things first, tell us about the acting career. What's the latest?
Yeah, man, I've been blessed, man. I actually started doing some voiceover work with FSU, and that kind of migrated into some acting opportunities. I've been in a couple of movies. I was in a movie that just came out a couple of months ago, The Pain Hustlers on Netflix. I also did 2 episodes of Kevin Hart's Die Hard series, Season 2. If you want to check it out, Episode 3, Episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Marvel. I've also done some commercials with Shaq, some tall commercials with Shaq, a show called Young Dylan. What's another show? Fantasy Football, Greenleaf.
Yeah.
So, man, I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed.
What's that like? I mean, the preparation and, the butterflies before a big game as an offensive lineman at Florida State. What's it like to get geared up mentally to go out and act?
I'll tell you a funny story. When I first started, I thought I'd be nervous, and I thought it would be a little more challenging than it was. But then I think I got a little bit arrogant. And when I did this show with Kevin Hart, I think it shook me. For the first time I froze. And I'd never frozen before. And so it was funny because as I'm getting ready to shoot the scene, when I came in, they said, okay, Forrest, we're going to take you down. They always have a little waiting area for the actors, and you have your stand-ins, and they get the lighting and all of that stuff prepared. And so when they were getting the lighting prepared, they told me to go sit in this room, and they said that Kevin will be here in a minute. We'll bring you out, and we'll introduce you to Kevin. And then kind of the reality set in, like, okay, they act like this is just kind of normal. Like, Kevin will be here in a minute. And so when I walked out and I met him, immediately they say, okay, guys, let's go and rehearse the scene. And so you got to think, Rick, it's 100 people on set.
Mm-hmm.
And they say action. And Kevin says his line, and I just stood there.
Oh.
And
okay.
In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take this moment in for a minute. Like, dude, like, you're doing a scene with Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And I I think he kind of looked at me and realized, okay, let me say something. He said, and your line is, and then, I kind of snapped out of it. So I think the mental part of it is very different because when you're talking about football and the mental aspect of it, you're also thinking about the physicality that's getting ready to take place. Whereas with acting, it's more of a mindset to really get into the character that you're playing. And, you have to digest that character, and what you give out is your version of that character. So I think that is the big difference with acting and with preparing for a football game.
Now, if I remember correctly, you're 6'7". So Kevin Hart came up to what, your hip? Your thigh?
Yeah. He came a little bit past my hip. Just a little bit past.
Forrest Connolly, ESPN college football analyst and actor, joining us here on Into the Night with Rick Ballou. All right, let's talk about both of our alma maters here. Florida State certainly has changed things completely with Mike Norvell over the last couple of years. But when you look at all of the lost production, both offensively and defensively, and the way that the season ended with guys not wanting to play in that game against Georgia, how hard do you believe it's going to be over there to turn the page and completely forget the good and bad in 2023?
I think they'll be fine. And I say that because I do their pro day every year. So I get a chance to go down and see the guys, see what they're looking like, see what the physicality is. And when you look at some of these kids, man, they have changed their body types. Hakeem Williams comes to mind, the wide receiver. This kid looks like a monster. He looks like he's next in line to be one of those guys. I love Ja'Kai Douglas. I think he's one of the toughest receivers in the country, if not the toughest receiver in the country. DJ, we know what he can do. And the thing about Coach Norvell and that staff, they just retool. And they are reminding me of what we were during those years when we were there and when I was playing. They got guys ready to play. I mean, when you look at what we lost on the defensive line with, those two kids that went to the Rams, I thought they were excellent with what they did. I thought they were awesome. But I tell you what, Joshua Farmer and Darrell Jackson, to me, and I've seen football all across this country, being able to call games, in different areas of the country the last 12, 13 years. These two kids right here on the inside for that interior defensive line, I think are going to make a lot of noise. Patrick Payton, I think he's just been waiting, for all of the lights to shine on him because everybody's paid so much attention to Verse. And if you look at Payton, he has put on a lot of muscle mass and he looks good. And then Marvin Jones Jr., think about it. The pedigree, the DNA is there. He's a huge kid with huge talent. The upside is there. And when you think about Marvin Jones Jr., you think about some of the other talent, Jermaine Johnson that came out of that Georgia program and came down to Florida State and shined. Garrett Verse coming out of that Albany program. So if I'm a defensive end, I'm looking at the opportunity to go down there and put my hand in the ground and make a name for myself and go in the first round. And I think he has that type of talent when you look at the physical skill set, the DNA that he brings to the table. And he's a guy that you can just plug and play. So when you look at that, you look at what else they've brought in the portal. Earl Little, the kids out of Alabama, Malik Benson. I think they just got a big commitment from the kid Cam Riley out of Auburn. He's a big thumper, a downhill guy, something that we've been missing. And not to take anything away from DJ Lundy, Omar Graham, Blake Nicholson, Sean Murphy, some of these guys that have been waiting to play, Justin Cryer. But you need one of those big thumpers, and you got 6'5", 240 coming in. I love that. So I think that Coach Norvell and the staff will be fine because they're always preparing for the future. They're never settling for what they have now. I will say this. There was some emotion with the team, and there was emotion from us, former players and the alumni, because we did not get an opportunity to play for a championship, which we did earn. I will say that. I'll continue to say that. We did earn that. And the fact that the committee chose to put 2 one-loss teams in over an undefeated Power 5 team, there's nothing anybody can ever tell me to change my mind on the fact that, we should have gotten an opportunity because I think a full team that we had last year, I think defensively we could compete with anybody. and anyone would have had a problem with us. And when you look at the time that you would have to prepare and get your quarterbacks ready to play, I think the quarterback play would have been better.
Interesting. Forrest Connolly, our guest. I'm glad you mentioned a couple of wide receivers, and Hakeem Williams and Ja'Kai Douglas, because to me that's the biggest question that this football team has. I think they can run the ball. I think they have 4 quality backs. But with last year, with Wilson and with Coleman and Bell, those were the 3 targets. And you look at everything else, I mean, very limited as far as because of health reasons or whatever. But you don't think that, if I'm reading you right, you don't think that that's going to be an issue?
No, I don't. I've got confidence in those young kids. First of all, when you look at Douglas, I mean, he made some big plays for us last season.
Against Pitt.
He's a tough kid. He's a really tough kid. He reminds me of a smaller version of Vanquan Bolden. He doesn't mind going across the middle. He will bounce off of contact. He runs towards contact. He doesn't run away from it. So I love the way he plays the game. Malik Benson, the transfer from Alabama, we didn't talk about. You know, here's a guy that's got speed on the outside. Jalen Brown, another transfer. You know, so they've got transfers in with speed. And I'll tell you a guy to watch for. Jackson West, tight end,
okay,
48. He reminds me, and I'm not saying he is, but the kid that just came out of Georgia, Brock Bowers, he reminds me of Bowers when he catches the ball and he's in the open field running the football. I think he has a chance to be a big player for us, you know, at that position, that H-back position. He's a tough kid. I think he's going to be able to make some plays if we get the ball into his hands. I think for Florida State, the big key was getting DJ, getting a quarterback, a tough kid that doesn't mind running the football, runs with aggression. You know, Coach Norvell, he likes to run his quarterbacks with that RPO action, and I think DJ fits the build. He's a big, tough, rugged kid. He's one of those quarterbacks that a lot of defenders don't like to tackle, and if he can get to the second and third level, he's going to be bigger than the majority of defenders that he's going to come across. So I like what Coach Norvell is doing. And like I said, the one thing that I've never really been worried about, you know, from the first day I met Coach Norvell, I saw something different with him. He actually cares, and he reminds me of a young version of Coach Bowden with the way he welcomes players back, the way he approaches the game, and the way that he takes whatever comes their way, and they make it work for him. You know, when you talk to Coach Norvell, it's always the cup being half full as opposed to the cup being half empty.
Yeah.
And I think you see that from the players. You see that from the staff. You see a lot of the staff now, older players that played in the program. Coach Higgins, you know, Ron Dugan. We just brought back Ernie Sims. I mean, so you've got guys that have been around the program that know the heart and soul of this program, and then you've got a great coach, you know, that understands what he has in front of him. And so I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. It'll be an interesting football game, the first game. I think with the travel, the excitement, you know, it's week 0. They're in Dublin, Ireland. I mean, all of those good things come into play. But I think they'll do well. I think they have the potential to be in the playoffs, no doubt whatsoever.
Comments from Forrest Connolly. Be interesting to see because Mike Norvell's won with 3-star players and transfers. Now he's starting to get 4- and 5-star players, still getting transfer portal kids, but he's getting better quality football players. Will that develop immediately on the field? Let's wrap it up with Miami, Forrest. Obviously, they had a very good transfer portal class as well, and that included quarterback Cam Ward. You know, just give us a minute. What do you think about the Canes? They got a tough battle in week 1. They go down the road here to Gainesville and are going to have to win against the Gators on the road.
Interesting about Cam Ward. I saw Cam Ward a couple of years ago calling a FCS playoff game prior to him going to Washington State. And I wondered out loud during the broadcast, okay, how did this kid not get seen out of the state of Texas? I mean, he is a dynamic player, very dynamic player. But when you look at the first game of the season, Florida and Miami, I think both teams are coming off of seasons where there was a lot of unexpected losses. They both have high expectations. They both have been in the portal and gotten some guys in to help their programs. And I think it's going to be a springboard for both teams, and they're both looking at this as an opportunity to reintroduce themselves to the college football world. It'll be interesting, I think, for Cam because it's a different beast playing football, in the Deep South. The Florida football versus what he saw out in the Pac-12 is going to be vastly different as far as the physicality, as far as the speed of the game. But he has the speed to operate and be very successful. So I'm interested to see how that game plays out. And I think that'll tell us a lot about where Florida is and where Miami is as far as that game and what happens there. But Miami's done a good job. When you look at their projected starting lineup, they've got 5 kids that transferred in that they expect to be starters. And one thing that I know about their coaching staff, and they recruit extremely well. They've been doing a really good job of keeping kids home down in the state of Florida, and I think that's going to bode well for them. A kid to watch out for is Trader, a wide receiver that they just brought in, the true freshman. This kid is extremely dynamic. I called his high school championship football game. He's one of the best high school route runners I think I've ever seen. He has the total package to a little bit of Peter Ward, the way he moves. I don't know if he'll be as dynamic as Peter was, but he moves the way Peter Ward moves. I mean, when I saw him, I'm like calling guys like, "Hey, man, let's see if we can try and flip this." This kid he's a truly dynamic player. So it'll be interesting to see how he transitions to the college game. But for Cam, it'll be interesting to see what he does with this opportunity that he has. Because remember, there was a time where they said Cam was looking at Florida State or Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Then he decided to go into the NFL draft, which I all along thought was a play, to leverage himself, which I understand totally. And he went in and, eventually signed with Miami, which I always felt like he was leaning toward. But I think this first game will be a springboard for one of those programs. And I think the team that comes out of that game with a loss, there will be an abundance of questions. And when you look at Florida's schedule, I almost look at this as a must-win for them because they have one of the toughest schedules that I've seen in a long time, and they need to get wins, as quickly and as soon as they possibly can to get the level of confidence up in those kids so they can have a really good season. So I think for Florida, it's more of a must-win, but I think it's a springboard for both teams. It'll be interesting to see how the quarterbacks play.
Hey, Forrest, great stuff. Really appreciate some comments from you and your time here on Into the Night with Rick Ballou. Look forward to doing it again down the road. Thank you.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, man. Thank you for having me.
There he goes. Big foe, Forrest Connolly, ESPN college football analyst and actor. Forrest Connolly, 6'7", 300-plus pounds. Kid came out of Connecticut, recruited by Bowden. And, the knock on Cam Ward is hanging on to the football, fumbles, right? The knock on DJ Uiagalelei is his completion percentage. Those are two things that have to improve at Miami and Florida State, respectively, if teams are going to consistently win. Ward has to hang on to the ball, and DJU has to get better when it comes to completing passes. I mean, I think he was, 56, 57% last year? That can't be the case at Florida State. All right, thank you to Forrest Connolly. If you want to share feedback and anything you heard right there with Florida State or Miami, you can. 641-1010, best way to get on in. That's our text line. It's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
You're in the pole position with 1010XL. Green flag.
Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Why does everyone seem to hesitate to buy a used car these days? Probably because the warranties stink. Well, we only offer the best cars that can pass our 160-point inspection and qualify for the Beaver Certified program with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You mean just Chevys and Toyotas, right? Nope, all of them. Nissans? Yep. Fords? That's right. Hondas? You bet. What about all of them? And if you want to see all of them, come see us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville.
I'm sure many of you guys feel like you wish you could be as fit as you were in your 20s. The dad bod is really tough to shed. I'm Dr. Lance Snyder, and I did something about it through Dr. Rappaport at the Jax Aesthetic Center. I'm active, I played college sports, I still work out a few times a week. Nothing worked. As a doctor and a dad, I want to be around as long as possible and feel good about my body. Dr. Rappaport put together a personalized treatment plan that worked. It was easy for me to make appointments, get to those appointments, and get back to work in time. I also recommend the Incella chair for any urinary issues or ED. Dr. Rappaport has some state-of-the-art treatment options for men. And the M-Sculpt Neo is an abs blast. 20,000 crunches in 30 minutes. Give yourself your own gift this Father's Day at the Jax Aesthetic Center. Build muscle and lose fat. Call or text today, 904-808-2455. That's 904-808-2455. You won't be sorry.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at bariorthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at bariorthopedics.com.
Find out more at bariorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 29, 1980, Larry Bird beats out Magic Johnson for NBA Rookie of the Year, averaging 21.3 points, 4.5 assists, and 10.4 rebounds a game.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today. Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
All right, get those boats ready. The Dailies Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin is coming soon to St. Augustine. It's June 8th. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com. You can find out more. The grand prize is a yellowfin bay boat. And with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout, it is seriously old school. That's why it's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Here's how you do it. You go online, you sign up, and you become part of what is going to a terrific event. It's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Go to oldschoolkingfish.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jacksonville needs Crazy Horse. Come on, Neil. Head to North Florida. Some Canadian rock, and it's deep. The great Neil Young. Second best thing to ever come out of Canada. I got to stay with Bobby Orr from Perry Sound. My all-time hero. The guy I've had an opportunity to interview several times, but I don't ever want to interview Bobby Orr. It's weird.
Just in case it goes bad.
Nah, it has nothing to do with that. It's just when I think of Bobby Orr, I think of being 2 years old, man, and like I want to be Bobby Orr. So I don't need to ask him the same questions that everyone else asks him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had a chance many times over the years. It's just kind of weird that I feel that way. But now Neil Young's a different story, man. We can get Neil Young on the horn. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to Forrest Connolly. Great stuff there with Big Foe. All right, what do you got?
Yeah, hopefully we got some of you guys on the horn pretty fast because we have a family 4-pack of voucher tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp. So these can be used at any game the rest of the season, any home game. So there is a series this week, Tuesday through Sunday. They face Nashville, but you don't necessarily have to go to that. So we're going to give it to you have to answer a correct question.
And that question is this. Coming up next hour, it'll be the first ever start for Braves prospect Spencer Schwellenbach. He's looking for his first ever win. Who in Major League Baseball, actively speaking, has the most wins? His number, 260 career wins. Tell JJ the answer at 641-1010. You get the package he just told you about. All right, in and out because I went long with Big Foe, Forrest Connolly, and we're going to bring in John Osher here in 5 minutes. So let's punch out again, but it's going to be worth it. Jaguars talk on the other side. John Osher joins Rick Ballou.
Bringing intelligent sports talk to the people of Jacksonville.
He's going to demonstrate an electro-biomechanical neural transmitting zero synapse repositioner. We call it
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time for Bravo Rama at Nimnik Buick GMC. Frank Frangie here. Find your next vehicle with Car Bravo, a better way to shop certified used vehicles online with transparent pricing. Save big this month with $1,000 customer cash on Car Bravo certified light-duty full-size pickup trucks and 0% APR. That's right, 0% on select Car Bravo certified vehicles. Get it all at Nimnik. Your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hacker here with an update. I'm now down 65 pounds in less than 3 months with Awaken 180. It's been incredible. You've seen it on social media. If not, take a look. I'm the guy with 65 less pounds around his midsection. Since I started, I had to get lower dose medication for both blood pressure and cholesterol. That meant a trip to the pharmacy. When I walked in, the pharmacist did a double take, the same way my doctor did. Didn't even recognize me. It's a pretty cool feeling, knowing I'm transforming into the new me. If I can do Awaken 180 and succeed, trust me, so can you. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying your favorite foods. With Awaken 180, you get to lose weight without giving up what you love. Are you ready to make the call to Awaken 180? Call right now, 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or do what I did and check them out at awaken180weightloss.com. Start changing your life today with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Oh, I'm getting shivers, man. The hairs at the back of my neck are standing up. Edmonton is the center of the universe. On a Wednesday night, we are 90-plus minutes away from the Oilers trying to even up that series against the Dallas Stars. Let's bring in our hockey expert and senior writer at Jaguars.com. John Osher joins Rick Ballou. Hello, John.
You know why I like hockey in May, Rick?
No, why?
Because they're not wearing baseball caps.
Man, these games are all going into overtime. It's nonstop theater, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I've been watching the Rangers and the and the Panthers, and the Rangers could easily have been swept by now.
Yeah,
but it's 2-2. Mm-hmm. Getting outplayed, it just shows you, in baseball it's the pitcher, in hockey sometimes it's the goalie who won't let anything in. So I love it. I couldn't explain most of the rules to you, but I love it.
Edmonton had the best hockey player in the history of the game in Wayne Gretzky, who was also surrounded by many Hall of Famers, including a Hall of Fame goaltender in Grant Fuhr. Edmonton right now has the best player on earth in Connor McDavid, and I think he's got an opportunity to enter Mount Rushmore one of these days if he can keep at this pace for, let's say, another 8 to 10 years. But a lot of pressure,
a kid, right? Like he's
oh yeah,
still young.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that I guess there's been a few guys make a run at it. I thought Crosby was really good for a while,
Oh yeah,
but this guy is a little Gretzky in the way he scores.
Yeah, and he had 60-some-odd goals a year ago. I think he only had 30 this year, but he went over 100 assists. And, we'll see. There hadn't been, a Stanley Cup winner in Canada. Is it 1993, the last time that happened, JJ? I think it is with the Montreal Canadiens. I think it happened in 93. That's the last time.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I don't know that many people from Canada, but they can't like that, right?
No, they can't. Where the game was invented, there's no doubt. And, of course, Montreal and Toronto were two of the original six. But 1993, here we go to the Jaguars now. The Jaguars didn't even come into play until 2 years later in 1995.
Yeah, and we're still waiting, for them to, to make it. And it's funny, right? This is the third show I've been on today. I'm thankful for this hockey talk, because I'll talk OTAs as much as you want, but and I always joke, and people get like a little irritated with me about how little it means. It means a lot to the team, but we can't analyze baseball caps. And there's just not that much for us to see, and that's fine. That's the way you have to do it. I think Doug's doing exactly the right thing. Make it light, get nobody hurt, teach. Their job right now is not to entertain us.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. It's pretty Dolesville to watch, but I guess it's fun to be outside.
It is, and certainly it's a beautiful facility, the Millard Electric Center. There's no question about that. I do want to ask you a couple of Jags questions, but
sure.
Also, you and I lost a really good friend on Friday, and many people listening were all, aware and was so friendly with David Lamb. Just a quick second on him, because I know that when your career began at the Florida Times Union here in Jacksonville, your relationship with David Lamb began then.
Yeah, it sort of began before that. I grew up in Jacksonville, and this may take a minute, but I grew up in Jacksonville. I wasn't a big newspaper reader when I was a kid, but I read it, and I was a huge Washington fan at the time of the Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
And, David, I was in about the 8th grade when he arrived in town. He had this column that always criticized the Washington football team, right? So I actually met David for the first time. I was friends through a friend with Alex and Tom, his sons, and I hope they're, my thoughts are with them right now. And I was playing backyard football over in Riverbend Apartment, and with Alex and Tom and our friend Darren. I'm in like the 9th grade, and David Lamb walks out of his apartment on a Saturday morning. Doesn't sound like much, but as a kid, the newspaper columnist in town, it was a huge event. I was like, that's David Lamb. Oh my God, it's David Lamb. So I met him a couple more times through that. Didn't know him. The thing I remember about David, Rick, is it sounds silly to say at the age 58, which I am, but when I'm 21, David Lamb is a rock star in town, and he defines the town. From the day I met him as a young reporter, never anything but gracious, approachable. I think the thing you said at the top of the show, a lot of people knew David Lamb. It's because he wanted to know everybody and was so accessible, such a Jacksonville guy. He was from North Carolina. And again, he was around in the time where the columnist in town was a rock star.
Yeah.
But never acted like it. He liked being David Lamb, had the ego, but nobody didn't like David once you met him. And I'll tell one final story. There was this friend of mine, Melissa McLean, who I went to Episcopal with. Her mother, Jane, rest her soul, biggest Gator fan I've ever met, right? So for years, John, I hate David Lamb because David had the ability in print to make you hate him or love him. David, until the day he died, I guarantee you he could pick Jane McLean out. He could tell stories. She loved him and hated him, right? Once you met David, even if you hated what he wrote, you couldn't not like the guy. And that's what being a columnist forever was. David personified it. Once he went into Sports Talk Radio, he personified it. He meant a lot to me. I'm proud to have known him and very grateful that I knew him and could call him a friend.
Yeah, well said. And that's a great point because in this business, we all are criticized and we're all disliked, even hated. But when you meet someone, the way that people who disliked David or hated him for something that he said or wrote, well, when you met him, your opinion changed, and that doesn't happen with everyone. Let's be honest here. It doesn't. And David had that ability. That was who he was.
Yeah, well, and it's about being genuine. I think you and I, Rick, have reached the point in our careers where I think what we say and what people read is sort of who we are. You reach a point where you can be honest. David was definitely that. The final thing I'll tell you, and I'll leave you with this. Years later, right? I'm probably 25 or 26. I'm in a hotel bar having a beer with Dave, And I told him the Washington football team story, right? I said, man, I hated you growing up. You hated Washington. And he smiled and he goes, John, I'm fine with Washington. He goes, don't you think there's a reason you were mad?
Yeah.
And that's the perfect thing, right? He was an entertainer. He said what he thought. He was fine with it. He liked that people got mad, liked that they didn't. He knew what it was. And again, I'm glad you asked me. I didn't really have a chance to talk about David, but what a legend, and I'm so glad that I knew him and called him a friend.
Yeah, and it's the stories are endless, and it's just one after another that are just so entertaining, and they're real, and his gift of telling stories was phenomenal as well. Let's wrap with this. The whole NFLPA, I mean, the offseason work that we get with rookie minicamp and then the OTAs and then mandatory minicamp, I know it's in its infancy, but it feels like if they get to an 18-game schedule, they're going to put together something right before the start of training camp and basically wipe out anything in the month of May and the early part of June. Have you had an opportunity to think about this?
A little, and I guess I always hesitate to criticize right out of the box, because Rick, we've been doing this for 3 decades. I'm just so used to the way the schedule is now that I kind of like it. You have downtime, you have OTAs. As much as I joke about, complain about OTAs, we get access during this time. We can feed the fans' quest for it. This is my body clock, so I'm used to this. Probably there are some benefits in terms of health, in terms of getting ready. I would guess it's going to happen. The NFLPA wants it, evidently. When the NFLPA wants something that doesn't cost the owners money, which this really wouldn't, they usually get it because the owners want to save the fight for things the players might not want or that's going to cost the owners money. So usually they sort of give on things like this. I guess there'll be benefits. My overriding thought is this. I doubt that first 3 or 4 weeks of, quote, training camp, if it starts in July, I think it will look like OTAs look now, meaning it'll be very low-key, very ramp-up. So I don't know that it'll change that much about, I don't think they'll tackle more. I don't think much will change beyond the shifting of the date. I'm kind of surprised players want it, but I probably haven't thought it through enough to know exactly everything about why they would want it. But my sense is it'll happen because stuff like this that the owners, are nonchalant about, which I guess they would be, usually goes to the players because the owners will fight them on something else.
No doubt. Hey, during our conversation, I've gotten a lot of texts, including one from our buddy Matt Hayes, who says, I have to ask you about Blades of Steel.
Oh, Blades of Steel. Blades of Steel was a Nintendo game back when it was the gray edition one of Nintendo.
Okay.
And Matt Hayes, we were covering high schools. We'd go either my apartment in Bay Meadows or his apartment on the west side, and we'd play Blades of Steel. And it was as you'd expect, no NHL affiliation. It was like 4 or 5 guys running around. But what me and Hayes would always do, the very intro would always go, Blades of Steel. And it was one of those memories. Matt and I played that, and we were first generation Tecmo 2. So those are Matt Hayes and I's best memories.
There you go. Outstanding stuff. John, Blades
of Steel.
Blades of Steel, ladies and gentlemen. I was never an Atari or video or Nintendo. I never really got into any of that stuff.
Well, you're a lesser man for it, Rick.
Of Steel. There it is.
That's it.
All right, Johnny, have a great week. I'll see you over there on Monday.
Rick, appreciate it, buddy.
There he goes. John Osher, ladies and gentlemen. Jaguar senior writer. Get all the material from John and his staff. Do a great job. And let's, first of all, before I want to get to Doug Peterson in his comments yesterday, number 15, talking about the NFLPA. Before we do that, do we have a winner to our sensational prize, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about the jumbo shrimp right here in Jacksonville.
Yes, congratulations to Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Who got the correct answer, which was Justin Verlander, who currently leads the major leagues in active wins. We had a couple interesting answers, including Cy Young, who has not been active on this earth for a very long time.
It doesn't matter what I say. It only matters what they hear. And somehow active and Cy Young, and we didn't say living, we said active.
The funniest part was the guy in the background was, like, the guy calling wasn't the one with the info. The guy in the background was like, it's Cy Young. Tell him Cy Young.
So, congratulations. Verlander.
Never listen to your dumbass friend.
Yeah, Justin Verlander going for victory number 261 tonight.
And they need it. I mean, the
and
Astros
Seattle.
are they're an interesting team. They've been in the ALCS like 5 years in a row or 6, something like that, and they're battling to even get to 500 right now.
Before we break, let's play 15 from Doug Peterson yesterday. If you haven't heard, the NFLPA is asking to really change the entire offseason. I'm with John Osher here. I like being able to go to rookie minicamp in May and start to get into some OTAs and then have the voluntary and then the mandatory minicamp for a couple of weeks in June. To me, I like it because you go out there, you put eyes on it, you can come back here and talk about whatever it is that you did see. So I would like it to stay the same, but it feels like change is coming.
The offseason is great to kind of build a foundation, and really see your young players, and it goes back to the developmental piece, of your young guys. And this is the time where you want to start that foundation. The players probably wouldn't like training camp, being extended, but it's long enough as it is. But look, anything that we do, if it helps the game and if it helps better the game and it's moving the game forward, I'm all for that.
Let's come back and spend a minute on this amongst everything else that's happening. I mean, it's so hypocritical. It's insane. Okay, the reason for this is safety, right? They want everything put together because they're saying that this time of year you can get injured, and you can get injured doing anything. We've seen that. I mean, look at Mason Smith, their second-round pick. He tore his ACL 2 years ago celebrating a sack. It's an 18-game schedule. It's going to happen, folks. It's more greed by NFL owners. And I get it. You don't want me to say it because you as the fan want it. And I get it. Slash an extra preseason game. We've already gone 4-3. You want to go 3-2. Makes a ton of sense. Give us an 18th game, right? Give us 20 weeks, 2 buys, 18 games. Extend training camp. The consumer is happy. But I don't, and I will never accept their plea of safety, right? And add more games. No. You can't preach safety and add more games. Okay? I mean, be a man and come out and say, this is a brutal sport. These are gladiators. There is massive risk in playing this game. I play golf with a bunch of buddies, whatever, and they got sons. I have daughters. And most of them don't play football. And I'm just like, if I had a son, I would let him decide to do what he wants. But I would absolutely nowadays steer him away from football. Your brains get scrambled in that sport. And what? Only 1% end up making it. I'm talking about those who go on to college. It's very entertaining. And it's the lifeblood of this city, and it's, frankly, the lifeblood of sports in our country. But they are so hypocritical. They really are. It's really a shame. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll come back and talk about this a little bit. If you want to join the conversation, 641-1010. Best way to get on in, that is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Let me remind you that going on right now at the Blue Crab Crab House, $1 oysters. $1 right off of San Jose, Julington Creek Road. The Blue Crab Crab House. They've been in town since 1996. Every single Wednesday, $1 oysters. That's going on right now. The Blue Crab Crab House, right off of San Jose, located on Julington Creek Road.
I think we're ready for a tournament.
We are so flipping good.
Attention, Googans. Come drive, drop, and dink with The Drill Friday, June 14th.
That's our first tournament.
At the Fruit Cove Recreation Club. Cash prizes, free swag, beginner's clinic, and Jeff E.T. and I in an exhibition match?
It looks so easy.
Go to thefruitcove.com and click on the 1010 flyer. To sign up your men's, women's, or mixed team, that's thefruitcove.com.
We are so good at pickleball.
Sponsored by good friends at Injury Care Centers and Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hi, it's Ben, second generation from Beard's Diamonds. Guys, if you're popping the question soon, looking for an anniversary gift, before you buy anywhere, shop Beard's. From a half carat to 10 carats, Beard's will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 29, 1980, Larry Bird beats out Magic Johnson for NBA Rookie of the Year, averaging 21.3 points, 4.5 assists, and 10.4 rebounds a game.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The 2024 season schedule is here, and so are single-game tickets. Don't miss your favorite matchups, and be at the bank when the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL.
To the end zone, touchdown!
Don't miss a moment of the action during our exciting 30th season, and grab your single-game tickets today. Lock in seats for your favorite matchup now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Get ready to swing into the hottest party this summer. Join First Tee North Florida at the Yards June 13th for the Summer Soiree. We're bringing the spirit of the Pacific Islands to Ponte Vedra with a Hawaiian luau-themed event. Enjoy family-friendly fun, including Hawaiian food trucks, live music, craft cocktails, golf games, raffle prizes, and more. The First Tee Summer Soiree provides the perfect blend of golf, party, and philanthropy. All proceeds benefit the impactful programs of the First Tee. Visit firstteenorthflorida.org/summer soiree to secure your tickets today.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars.
The next time you visit Twin Peaks off Atlantic and Kernan, be sure to ask for Brackish Vodka.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Getting a lot of reaction on Blades of Steel. Apparently, folks loved it. And growing up, I never did the video games, nor do I ever want to get into the video games. I don't criticize those who do it. I just never have been interested in it. You know, Tiger Woods golf or any of that stuff. It just never hit me. And I like watching television. I like watching games, movies, series. I love reading books. I just don't think I would have the time. I would hate to not read a book because I was caught on a video game.
You're playing FIFA with your friends. What about Golden Tee, though?
No, never.
Wow.
Never got into anything. Never got into anything.
What about bar games in general? Are you were ever a billiards guy, a darts?
Shot pool when I worked at Docks in Tallahassee. That was big. But no, I mean, I got asked by...
Not in your later years.
No. I got asked the other day to play in a, a Saturday night poker game. I'm like, no. Hell no. I don't want to play poker.
I love that.
I just don't want to play poker. I mean... It's just not for me.
And you don't gamble.
Yeah.
So, that's sort of...
Yeah, I played some board games, and then I did with my kids. But and I'm glad I never got into the video games. And again, I'm not criticizing it, but I know that they're addictive.
Oh, hell yeah.
I've been playing a lot of golf with one of the greatest corners to ever play here, Aaron Beasley, as of late. And one night, my phone bleeps. It's like midnight, and I'm getting called out, really criticized, and I'm like, what is going on with Killer Bees? Okay, he's like really taking shots at me. So I send back, what's up? And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. I'm playing video games with this guy. I guess you can play video games and they can be across the country and you can play them.
Bro, my little brother, he just got married last weekend. There was 5 or 6 people at the wedding that he had known since he was 12. He's almost 30 from just playing video games. They just played video games together his entire life. And they didn't even meet till they were in their 20s. And now they're going to each other's weddings. They're
Right.
best of friends.
He's like,
it's crazy.
I can't repeat what it was, but he's like, you've been blitzing me all night. Okay.
So they're playing Madden?
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess. But he's like, So they're playing one another, but he's also, I guess, they're texting. And he called him out. I thought he called me out. I was like, man, I'm sitting here reading a book. I'm pretty boring.
I'm certainly not blitzing your ass.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the Iron Claw movie yet?
I haven't. Is that the wrestlers?
Yes.
The
the Von
wrestling
Erichs.
family? No, I'm not familiar at all with it, but I heard great things about the movie.
It was a very good movie. Very familiar with the Von Erichs and the tragedy of that family. I had a difficult time dealing with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, who plays Lip on Shameless, all buffed up, all put together. That was a little bit of a shock to me. But Holt McCallany was absolutely outstanding. The one who played the dad. Now, he's the one from The Mindhunter. You ever watched that series?
I've seen it.
I thought the dad was the best. I thought he was the best actor of them all in this movie. He was really,
What'd you
really
watch
good.
it on?
Oh, I don't know. I streamed it, whatever it's on.
So what's the, without giving away what, the movie is totally about, what's the basic synopsis of, this family, this...
Yeah, it's more than based on a life. It's more than based on a true story. It is a true story. I mean,
right.
I think 3 of the brothers committed suicide. A 4th died of a drug overdose, which David Von Erich, which could have been considered a suicide.
So they were famous?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Great wrestling family in Texas.
Went to the Olympics?
Fritz Von Erich. No. Professional wrestling.
Oh, pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
I didn't even get
wrestling.
That right. Okay.
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah. And just tragedy after tragedy after, Kerry Von Erich. Kevin Von Erich's still alive, but David Von Erich died, and a couple of the others who weren't nearly as famous. One died when he was 4, maybe 5 years of age. It was interesting because they left out one brother in the movie that was he was born, and I don't know what his problem was, but, these guys were monsters. They were 6 foot plus, 240, 50 pounds plus, really put together. He was not. He was half their size, and he died way before he was supposed to. They actually omitted him from the movie, and I read the reason why. They just didn't want to go down that road. There was only a certain amount of time that they could do it. But I think you'll enjoy it. Sports fans, I think, will enjoy it. I think there's a lot of wrestling fans out there that are well aware of the Von Erichs. I think they could have done a better job casting a Ric Flair. That was a big part of it. Flair and his title. Taking on a couple of different Von Erichs at different times. There are people who do outstanding Ric Flairs. I think that was a little bit of a miss, but I won't tell you too much more. It is a true story. So it's not like You're
giving it away.
Yeah, it's not like it's a movie spoiler here. Right? Now, I'm sure it's embellished a little bit with the way that a few of these brothers died, especially Kerry Von Erich. That looked like it was made for Hollywood, but still, the movie is absolutely worth looking at if you haven't had an opportunity to see it. It's called Iron Claw. What's he called? What's the Zac Efron? He's got range, man. So
he's great.
He's gone from Ted Bundy to David Von Erich.
Well, he's gone from High School Musical to Ted Bundy.
Kevin Von Erich, yeah.
So he's gone from High School Musical Disney guy to Bundy to Von Erich.
No. Oh, and speaking of Bundy, I made a mistake earlier. It's not the bad breath killer. It's the bad breath rapist.
Of course.
Who they have now found.
He's been caught, thank God, after over a decade on the run. Since 2007, he's been on the run. I guess he was arrested and charged or convicted in Massachusetts, but he left, and they haven't been able to find him. And apparently there was a tip, and they found him in San Francisco, and he'd been with a girl for 12 years under his fake name. She had no idea.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, I guess. But a lot of these serial killers are married. I mean, Dave Rader was married, right? The BTK. John Wayne Gacy molested boys, killed boys. He was married. until she left him, but committed a lot of them when he was married. Bundy had a girlfriend that he adored. So
guys, think about how hard it is, like hiding your sports betting habit from your wife. Extrapolate that by like 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiding being a mass murderer from your wife.
They're all going to get caught. It's impossible nowadays.
You just can't serial kill like you used to.
You can't. With surveillance and forensics, it's impossible.
Phones. Everybody brings their phone with them everywhere.
The NFLPA, so basically, here's what they want to have in the future, okay? Currently, if you don't know, you're allowed to begin working out in April, and it's usually the week before the draft, which has never made a lot of sense to me. Then you have rookie minicamp in May, voluntary OTAs, which are going on right now. That is followed up by mandatory minicamp, which is typically the second week in June. And then you get 6 weeks off before training camp, right, which begins in late July. The NFLPA, which is the National Football League Players Association, they're crafting a proposal to NFL owners to overhaul the offseason as soon as next year. They want total elimination of voluntary spring workouts and OTAs in favor of a longer training camp, ramping up with players reporting in mid-June to early July. So it's basically going to be an extension of training camp. And the reason for this, again, is injuries. The NFLPA's proposal stems from a desire to reduce injuries and maximize players' recovery time. And the end result of this, as we know, is the expected 18-game regular season schedule, which, I mean, is 2025 too soon for that? I got to believe by 2026 it is absolutely going to be in play. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in 2025. Now, that adds an extra game. Let's face it. A lot of guys don't play in spring. A lot of guys don't play in preseason games. A lot of your starters are, isn't it Kansas City who comes here in like week one? I'll have to look at the preseason schedule. You're not going to see Patrick Mahomes here. You're not going to see Chris Jones play here, just like you're not going to see Trevor and the starters. That's not going to be the case. That's just the way things are during preseason.
It is the Chiefs week 1.
Okay, yes. Saturday, August 10th. Saturday, August 10th, KC. Then Saturday, August 17th, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is going to practice here that week for a couple of sessions over at the Miller Electric Center with the Jags. And then Jacksonville will go out and play on a Friday night, August 23rd in Atlanta. So those are the 3 preseason games, the 10th, the 17th, and the 23rd. And then you get downtime until the regular season begins on Sunday, September 8th. I was looking today, that first month for Jacksonville, they're an underdog as expected in all 3 of those road games in the month of September. They're like a 3.5-point dog in Miami. They're a 1-point favorite at home against Cleveland during the home opener. Want to say they're I don't have it in front of me. I'll look it up here during the break. I want to say they're a 4.5-point underdog at Buffalo on Monday night, and then they're a 3.5-point underdog at Houston on Sunday, September 29th. So, all one-possession games, basically all a field goal or less, outside of maybe Buffalo, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.5 points. So that's the latest there. Whatever it is, we'll adapt to it. It's not about us. It's not about it's not about the media. It's about them. It's about the players. But the ability to heal, maximize your opportunity to heal. Is that viable? To add an extension to training camp? I mean, think of all the injuries that we discuss year after year after year after year during training camp. Soft cell injuries, hamstrings, groins, no matter what it may be, you're adding weeks to it. And, injuries can happen at any time. We all remember what happened to Dante Fowler during rookie minicamp. I mean, there's no perfect recipe here to stay healthy. You do not know. Anton Harrison hurt his shoulder last year during training camp. And to this day, I don't even know if it was a contact-related deal where he was going up against a defensive lineman, or if he did it hitting a sled, or what happened. I don't know how it happened. 2 years ago, Devin Lloyd set him back. 24-year-old rookie, an opportunity to come right in and play. He was slowed the entire training camp in 2022 because of a hamstring. So you can never just point out. I think that this is basically flawed. I do. I think it's the NFL players basically saying, all right, you got us for 6 months. Now leave us alone. When the season ends in January, if you're not a playoff team, leave us alone in January, February, March, April, and May. And probably halfway through June. Give us 5.5 months for non-playoff teams. Obviously, playoff teams extend if you win week after week. That would be my guess as to what the players want. And, one thing that really hurt Tom Coughlin was wanting players to be here during his second reign with the Jaguars, to want players to be here who were injured and to work out at the facility. I mean, yes. I mean, you look at the brand new Miller Electric Center. It's better than anything in the NFL. It's one of the top facilities in all of sports. You want your players here working out during the offseason, rehabilitating, but you cannot force them. And I think if you get injured during the season and you're rehabilitating, that's the other side of this that I haven't heard anyone mention yet. If you're out for 5.5 months and you don't call Jacksonville home, and look, I was reading an article today, Jacksonville's going to have 30 free agents at the end of the year out of their 90-man roster. Okay? Now, out of those 30, I'm guessing, I don't even want to put a number on it. I'd like to say maybe 10 or so, maybe 12, maybe 15. I really have to analyze it. Aren't going to make the team anyway, right? They may be practice squad guys. But you, as an NFL fan, a Jags fan, you see how this revolving door works. My point is, not everyone buys. Not everyone comes to Jacksonville and buys a home because they know that they may be gone in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, so they rent. And if you know you're not a long-term fixture with this organization, you're probably going to pack up and get out of here and go to wherever it was your home is or you were before you got here. So that's going to keep these players who get injured during the course of the season and are in their rehabilitation where you want them here, but you can't force them because of the NFLPA and their collectively bargained agreement with the NFL owners. That throws another wrench into it. Something to consider. All right, let's come back, put our final touches on this Wednesday edition. Thursday night, tomorrow, right at 6:30. Dave Campo. Enjoyed watching practice, the majority of it yesterday with the former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He had a lot of really interesting things to say about some of these defensive guys, including some of those in the ditch, which I don't spend a lot of time watching without pads. Dave Campo, obviously, is a defensive-minded guy. He's always going to go to that side of the football. So that is something we'll do tomorrow night right out of the gate. That'll be at 6:30 when Dave Campo joins us on Into the Night.
All we hear is Radio Gaga. All we hear is
1010XL.
On nice would it be not to worry about your AC unit for 10 years? What? Vaughn's Heating and Air, standing by their units for 10 years. Imagine not having to think about your AC unit for a decade. Vaughn's 10-year warranty covers the parts, labor, and refrigerant. Basically everything. No fictional problems that will cost thousands. This is legit. An AC unit with no repair costs. Wouldn't that be nice? So remember, if your AC unit won't turn on, just call Vaughn's. That's Vaughn's Heating and Air.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I have some exciting news from Leonard Truck Accessories and Trailers in Jacksonville. A brand new location on Beach Boulevard will be opening soon. Stop by the grand opening on Friday, June 28th, and put your name in for a chance to win a brand new loaded golf cart. Leonard Truck Accessories. Your truck, your style.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's go! And happy Halloween in June. Come cheer your Jacksonville Sharks on to victory as they fight against the Arizona Rattlers this Saturday, June 1st, 7 o'clock at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. With tickets as low as $15, you're not going to find any Saturdays with more family affordable fun. It's for everyone. Dig out your best costumes for Halloween night. It's always one of the faves. Whoever has the best costume will go home with a prize. Venture into the Scare Zone, featuring 13th Floor Haunted House. And join us post-game on the field for an autograph session. Don't miss the game. This Saturday, June 1st, it's Halloween in June at the Veterans Memorial Arena. Be a part of indoor football fun and exciting, non-stop action. For tickets as low as $15, call 904-621-0700. Get ready for Fright Night. Let's go.
New faces on the field for the first time in team. There are no shortcuts, man. OTA coverage is brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Up, quick speed!
On 1010XL.
Attention veterans, if you have a VA loan, you need to listen to this, especially if your current rate is higher than 6.5%. Now is the time to take advantage of the federal government's VA Streamlined Refinance Program. With my friends at Loan Pronto, you can. Go to loanpronto.com. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto has fixed rate APRs in the 5s. You can drop your rate now. Lower your payment with no income documentation and no appraisal. Do it at loanpronto.com. Their all-digital platform makes it easy. They can even cover your closing costs. If you need cash now, Loan Pronto can get you up to 100% of your home value. You can pay off all your credit cards or other debt and save as much as $1,000 a month. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508 or get a 30-second rate quote at loanpronto.com. Ask about streamlined VA loans, no income doc, and no appraisal. Loan Pronto, 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
I'm Charlie P., and I lost 50 pounds on Awaken 180 weight loss. Two of my doctors, my general practitioner and my gastroenterologist, both sat me down and had a real heart-to-heart with me that I was not headed in the right direction and said that I need to lose weight. So that's why I thought, now it's time to talk to Awaken 180 because they're going to be the people that are going to be able to help me. And ultimately, my doctor was able to eliminate my diabetic medicine. So I'm off my diabetic medicine and I'm on such a small dosage of my blood pressure medicine that probably the next time I see him, I'll be able to remove that completely as well.
Thanks, Charlie. This is Mike Dempsey. Whether your goal with Awaken 180 is to eliminate medications, improve energy, or increase confidence, I know you'll achieve it with the solution for weight loss. Do what Charlie did, what Matt Hayes, Hacker, and I did. Make the call to Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlion from MyBookie. Bet on any fight, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
With UFC 302 this weekend, it's not just about betting winners, you're betting on yourself at MyBookie. Boosted bets and exclusive money bag props give you everything you need to cash in on your fight knowledge. And the best part is, when you play with MyBookie, you can stream and bet live right from the sportsbook, so you can turn those big fights into big wins. A main event clash between Makhachev and Poirier sets the tone for what should be one of the most intense cards of the year. This is Makhachev's first title defense against a legitimate lightweight contender, whilst Poirier is looking to continue momentum from a stunning comeback win earlier this year. You know you're going to watch the fights this weekend anyway, so choose the book that makes it simple to bet and easy to get paid. Sign up, use promo code 1010XL, bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code, 1010XL.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Reinhardt, his one-timer last night, evened things up for the Florida Panthers and their best of 7. The Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Rangers. Tonight, the series shifts out west, Edmonton and Dallas. Still think Dallas is the best team out of the 4 who remain, but tough place to play. Tough barn, Rogers Place, Edmonton. They're going to drop the puck tonight sometime around 8:40 or so. So looking forward to watching that. That's it as far as the playoffs. Of course, the Eastern Conference set. Boston, 4 straight over Indiana, including 3 fourth-quarter late comebacks. Especially Game 3. I still can't believe they came back and won that game. That was just off the chart. And they'll wait. Dallas could have NBA and NHL finals both in, right? Texas, the Rangers just won the World Series. Cowboys haven't won since what? 1990? Somewhere in the mid-90s, right, for the Dallas Cowboys? I think that's the last time that they actually won a Super Bowl.
96.
1996. So the Rangers won it, the Stars and the Mavericks, both with tremendous opportunities. Of course, the Mavericks up 3-1. They'll resume their matchup tomorrow night against Minnesota, and that'll be in Minnesota. That's coming up Thursday. So that's it as far as playoff games. I haven't had an opportunity. Have you been able to watch your youngster pitching tonight for the Atlanta Braves?
I've been keeping tabs. He looks good. He's got nice stuff. Unfortunately, Duvall tried to sabotage him by having an error in the outfield, putting the guy on third base with no outs, but he got out of it. Strikeout of Joey Gallo. So far, so good for the Braves' new right-hander, who has a last name Schwegenbach, I believe.
Spencer Schwellenbach. Yeah,
Spence.
I'm rooting for him just because of his name.
Absolutely. That's a big league name.
Mm-hmm. So, no score there in that matchup, the Nationals.
Sounds like he should play for Bayern Munich.
Against the Braves. Yeah. We didn't even mention, we've been so busy, the not even mid-season, the 1/3 way through the season, forced retirement of umpire Angel Hernandez.
Is he finishing the season?
No.
Oh, he's done?
I think he's done.
Oh, my God. I thought this was going to be like his last year.
I think they said.
Effective immediately.
I think he got turned. I think they said, Angel.
They knocked on the door.
Meet us at our office and please bring your playbook with you.
You know, they should have him do the All-Star game just as like a goodbye. My favorite part about him retiring, besides the fact that we won't have the worst umpire in the game anymore, is all of the Twitter montages that have been going around of like his worst calls of all time.
Yeah. And some of the memes.
It brings me so much joy. He's terrible.
And
has been for a long, long time.
Yeah, and some of his calls were just so egregious. I mean, just so, we saw the one that happened with Bryce Harper recently.
Yeah.
On a called third strike. As he was the third base umpire, Harper hitting from the left side. There's no way he went around. It's not even, Stevie Wonder could have seen that he didn't go around. But here's my understanding with Angel Hernandez. He's been so bad with calls forever, but I guess off the diamond, he's like the most likable guy.
Yeah, even like on the field with players and coaches, they like him as a guy. Will Clark, you guys should go play or watch it on Twitter because we cannot play it on the radio, but he tells a hilarious story of
because of language?
Yes.
Okay.
He bought them a couple beers after a game, and ever since then, or after that, he never had any issue with Angel Hernandez. Like, his strike zone was so small after that. And that's part of the reason why he's a terrible ump.
I'm sure there are people in the workspace. I'm sure there's people here, myself included, right? Really bad at their job, but everyone likes you. That's me.
Of course.
That's why I stay employed. That's Angel Hernandez. He's just been so bad, but he's liked. But his career has come to an end. 30-plus years as an MLB umpire. Thank you to Big Foe. That is ESPN college football analyst and actor Forrest Congley, the former Seminole, and, of course, John Osher. Tomorrow night at 6:30, Dave Campo joins us. Thank you to JJ LaSelva. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll do it tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
The toughest guy on our team.
He thinks he's Rambo.
Tom McManus.
Rambo is a...
Fridays on